Hello and welcome to another MCO NXT update. Yeah, in this video I want to take the opportunity to talk about the different kind of game types that you can get for the Switch 2. There is a lot of confusion about them, a lot of misinformation as well I have found online, yeah. And therefore we wanna put this straight a little bit. Yeah, we wanna talk about this a little bit. I wanna talk about, well, not these games, but the game types that you can see here. I will start with the actual physical game card, and then we'll talk about the download code, and in the end I will talk in a lot of detail about these game key cards, because I think I've made my mind up about them. I want to just clear up some misconceptions, misunderstandings that are out there, but I might like overanalyze this a little bit, but I want to make it crystal clear what they are. Now, for me, the ideal type, yeah, is this. This is ideal, gold standard in my opinion, right? These guys have shown that you can put a complete game on the card, yeah. So CD Projekt, yeah, CD Projekt Red, they have figured out that you can put the entire game on a card, and it's a massive game, and they made a really good job, and it's the entire game on the card. And so what you get with this game is, the physical one, yeah, the physical edition of the game. It's a card, and this is it. Everything is in here. Everything is in here. Everything is on the card. You just need that card, and you put it in there, and you have the entire game on your Switch. Easy, yeah. Easy to understand for everybody. That's how games used to be many, many years ago, in my teenage years. That's all we got. And that was great, okay? Of course, there were exceptions where you just download games, but most games were physically on the card, physically on the DVD, whatever. Yeah, you don't need an internet connection to download a game. Now, what you get here is basically a glorified download code with a box. It is a download code, essentially, what you find in here. When the game says download code only, the only reason to buy this is if you want to have it actually as a gift to someone, and you just don't just want to have the code, but you want to have the art and the box with it, or someone like me who just likes to unbox and just have the feeling of have something in their hands, but really you could simply buy this in the eShop, download it. That's the same thing. You do not have a card. You can't really resell it. Yeah, you can't. It's a license, essentially, right? I mean, you download it, but you can't sell it. Yeah, it's just a code. It's on your Switch. You cannot give the card away or anything. There is no card in there. There's just a code in there. So whether you buy the box with the code or you just download it from the eShop, it doesn't make a difference, really, right? So that's the second type, okay? A lot of people dislike this. I mean, I don't find it ideal, but I mean, it's up to it's normally up to people if they buy it in the eShop or if they buy the physical game in the shop. But the problem is that many games don't even come out anymore as physical games, which kind of annoys me a little bit. I think it's been like that on many consoles for some years, but it has kind of become a thing on the Switch too that people talk about a lot, which I kind of find good because I like the debate about it. I like physical games. I don't like this so much. I mean, I want to have the choice, right? If I want to get the physical game, I go out and buy it. And because I want to have it for the future, I might want to resell it, whatever. But this is just a download, okay? It is what it is. Now, this is the thing that kind of many people argue about. A lot of emotion tied to these game key cards. And essentially, what are they? Well, to keep it very simple, they are cards as well. But you see it in the top right corner, there's a little key on there. Yeah, there's a little key on there. What it basically means, it's also a game. It's the physical game, but not everything, not all the data is actually on the card, but you at least get a card. The only difference to the Cyberpunk game is that not everything is on the card, but you still own the game. So you can sell it, okay? What a lot of people are upset about is that a lot of developers or studios just want to save costs, and they put the game on, they put only some of it on the card, and then have people download the rest, which some people are annoyed about, because if you go home and you want to just play it, you have to download it first. Now, in the era of fast internet connections, that's not a massive problem, but still, I find it, I don't find it ideal. I believe, personally, I'd love to have, if they can physically put a game on the card, then they should do it, okay? Unfortunately, not many studios are doing it, so they decide to give you a card, yeah, and then you still have to download the rest. But you can resell it. So because you need the card basically to play it, you can give it away, you can resell it. So it's not too bad, okay? I think it's the second best option. This is the best. This is second best, because you can still get at least a physical card that you can resell. So again, whether you are wondering whether it's worth buying them, I mean, you're not alone, because there's been a lot of noise online, a lot of frustration, and I get it. Now, on the surface, it feels a bit weird. So like you're buying a physical box, you open it up, and you find a little card, and then you just still have to download it, right? But believe it or not, this isn't totally new. We've actually seen it on the Switch 1, but people didn't really talk about it, okay? So quite a few games actually operated like that. It's just that back then, when it wasn't clearly marked. They didn't really call it game keycard. So I'm not sure if Nintendo made a wise choice there or not, but it wasn't clearly marked. And some games would tell you on the front that you might still need to download some of the content. Others would just bury it in the fine print on the back. So some were fake physicals, essentially. Boxes that looked like real games with the full game on them, but you still needed to download some of it. But then it caused confusion, because you would buy what looked like a full physical copy, only to find out later that you still needed to download some of the game, or most of the game. In some cases, all of it. It just didn't really say it, okay? In many cases. So what changed now with the Switch 2? So I just want to make clear that this existed before. This is not a Switch 2 thing. And in fact, you find that on the Xbox as well, and the PS5 as well, to a degree, right? It's just that Nintendo seems to be trying to clean this up. So they had actually, I think, some good intentions. Okay, they tried to standardize the game keycard format, and they are now clearly labeled, which is actually a good thing. So the fact that they are upfront about it is actually a good thing. I still don't like it so much, because I would love to have the full game here on it, right? Because, I mean, imagine you buy it, or you resell it, and then people might not be able to download it because, I don't know, maybe it's no longer supported, right? You basically have this for eternity, okay? This, I don't know. So that's the difference. But you still have the game. You can still, as long as the Switch 2 is there, you probably have no problems with that. I don't know how it is in 20 years when you have a game like that. You want to unpack your old Switch 2, and then, well, maybe the game was deleted, you can't download it anymore. I don't know how that would work, right? But anyway, they still try to clean this up by standardizing it. And that might seem a bit like a bummer, but there's a bit more nuance here. So for example, this format gives third-party developers, especially big publishers, a way to cut costs. Okay, so to produce cartridges, especially the higher capacity ones, can be more expensive. So instead of paying for, let's say, a 32 GB card, they throw it on, they put it onto a small one, and then just slap it on the shelves, and they call it a day, and you still have to download the rest, right? That is a way for them to cut cost. But then why not just go fully digital? Why does not everybody who does this then just give you the download code without the card? Why do they make an effort to still give you a card? Because this still matters. Retail shelf space still matters a lot, right? Walk into any game store and you'll see parents browsing for their kids. Now, many of them still prefer to buy something physical. That's why you can buy these stupid ones here, just a box with a code as well. But some people might not, just see this and then, well, at least it's clearly marked, right? At least they're open about it. But yeah, they still need to have it somewhere in the shop. Not everybody shops online. At least they're upfront about it. But that's exactly why they still don't go necessarily completely virtual. people still like to buy something physical. I do, and I prefer this over just the download code. But not all games are there with the game keycard. Had Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, if there was a version where you could buy the game keycard, I'd go for it. There's no way I can do that because it doesn't exist. So I prefer physical over virtual wherever I can get it. But this here is something that obviously you can wrap, you can resell. So for the publishers, it's marketing. If your game isn't on the in the retail space, kind of you lose out a bit. That's visibility. So if you have it there in the shops, it's visible. So I love physical games. I love collecting them. Right? I love opening the box personally. I love to see the cartridge. I love to hold the artwork. With game keycards, it's a bit complicated, but it's better than just having a download code in my view. Because again, you can resell it. You need the game card to have it run, to be able to run it. So all you have to do then, it's basically the game, it's just not all of it is on the card. So that's the main difference to the full game like Cyberpunk, which I prefer. But people get like confusion. People think you can't sell it. Yes, you can sell it, okay? It's just that the only difference is you have to download a portion of the game, which then means that you will essentially at some point lose space on you have to buy the SD card or the Express SD card, right? But that's basically it. I mean, it's not perfect. I don't love the idea of paying for only half the game with plastic around it and then you have to download it, but I do appreciate the clarity now, at least with the Switch 2, we know what we're getting. But kind of, it's still that clarity that they try to provide. It's kicked off that discussion online. So would I recommend buying game keycards? Only if you know what they are and you are okay with that. Otherwise, I'd always suggest checking the box closely. Look for that game keycard label. And if you're like me and you really want a true physical game, then stick to the games with the full cartridge on. But to the game with a full cartridge, with the full game on the cartridge. Now the problem is, not all of them are like that. Actually, the minority. So most of them will be either download code or game keycard. So you just have to understand the difference, right? If you understand the difference, then you know what you're getting into. And I don't find these so problematic because you still have the game. And what is important for me is that you own it, you can sell it, if you don't want it anymore. But for me, it's about collecting as well. This is a bit more problematic, just download code. And you can just buy it in the eShop, but at least, you have a box. Again, bit of nostalgia there. And this is the preference. The whole game on the cartridge. But not all games are like that or are going to be like that, right? So again, Nintendo, I think, and a few other companies are still putting the whole game on there. And personally, it's where, in my view, and we've seen it in the data, that's where most purchases are going, actually. That's also where most of my purchases will go. I want to support that. But if I want to play a game and it doesn't exist fully on the cartridge, I gotta choose, do I go full download? Because the ones that are with game keycard, you can just buy them online as well without game keycard. So that would just be a download code or just buy the game in the eShop. But if I have the option to buy the game keycard, I'll be able to sell it. Or at least I've got something physical, which I like. Okay, I hope that kind of cleared up the confusion. Thanks so much. Make sure you subscribe. Have a great day. Bye-bye.